welcome to the Musical Chairs Podcast, the only podcast that invites you to pull up a chair and take a listen. Now, this podcast is going to be a bit more subdued, more philosophical, because of the subject matter. Now, if you remember, a few days ago, I posted up a podcast where I questioned whether or not we as consumers of music are able to separate the artistry from the artist. In the case that I posted in the last podcast, I'll have a link below. The lead singer, Ian Watkins of Lost Prophets, was convicted after admitting guilt in numerous counts of child pornography, as well as other crimes that were associated with children. And my question became, it's for the question for me, am I going to be able to listen? If I was a Lost Prophets fan, would I be able to listen to their music after knowing that their lead singer was this kind of person? In that case, it didn't really bug me, because I said, well, I don't really listen to him as it is. It's not going to make me want to listen to him anymore. But I could imagine a fan who could be, devastated. could be devastated by it. Could also, or it could be that, if you're such a fan, you're like, the music's music, and the people are the people, and I could separate the two. And I also brought up Michael Jackson. I brought up Gary Glitter as well. Two men who, their personal lives have been brought into question, either through suspicion or through actual guilt, in dealing with children specifically, but in general, doing things that are not supported by society and are frowned upon. And people still listen to Rock and Roll Part 2 with great reverence, and people still listen to Michael Jackson with great reverence. And so those people are able to compartmentalize the personal life of the artist and the artistry. So one of those people that I kind of just touched on in a really quick manner was R. Kelly. And R. Kelly is back in the news because he's promoting a new record called Black Panties. And for that record, the Village Voice has kind of rebrought or has resurrected, what happened 15 years ago to R. Kelly. If you don't remember, R. Kelly was basically arrested for multiple counts of indecent exposure to minors, as well as obtaining child pornography. And the case broke here in Chicago through the journalism of Jim DeRogatis over there at the Chicago Sun-Times. He's now with WBEZ. And he looked into this case kind of single-handedly. Him and another guy looked into it. Worked on these stories. And was pretty much, it was pretty much rumor at that time until he was emailed, or, he was sent a videotape, showing a sex act, which was the basically a half-hour tape showing a man urinating on a 15-year-old girl. And the question became, is it R. Kelly or wasn't it? And, whether or not you've seen the tape, I've never personally seen the tape, but the consensus was, at least amongst my peers, was yes, it was R. Kelly. However, the court found him not guilty for whatever reason. So that stigma of he effectively got away with it has stuck with him, at least in the streets. And the story kind of died down after his acquittal. He went off and had plenty of success right afterwards. He was made fun of by Dave Chappelle, famously, and that's kind of stuck with him. But he's gone on to make more records, guest on other people's records, doing remixes, doing all kinds of things, and having various amounts of success with this. So what I found really interesting in this article was that Jim DeRogatis was being interviewed by the author, Jessica Hopper. And Jim DeRogatis kind of walked her through how it started, how he got on the case, and then to the point of him going to trial. And there are a lot of pieces of information that a lot of people don't really know about. I will provide a link down below to this article. I think it's a really good read. It's very well written, and it's very there's a very good human aspect to the story. The parts that I want to kind of touch on are, again, kind of revisiting this idea of, can we separate the artist from the artistry, right? I think in the cases of some of the other cases where we saw this stuff is that R. Kelly's in an interesting situation in the sense of the other people that I spoke of in the other podcasts, at least knowingly to me, I can't make a direct connection between what it was that they did as artists and what they're famous for, more importantly, and their personal lives. So, for example, Michael Jackson, who was not formally found guilty of any crimes against children, or just any kind of sex crimes, still on the street, many people believe that he has done in the court of public opinion. And, I've never heard him sing a song. I've heard him sing songs about kids, but it's just more of like Save the Kids. That's what I heard. All right. For Gary Glitter, Rock and Roll Part 2 is honestly the only song that I knowingly know of Gary Glitter's. Not a whole lot of words in that one. So his involvement and conviction of sex crimes against children, again, there's kind of a division between that. In R. Kelly's case, there's a really blurred line. Because that man, all he does is sing about sex. All he does is sing about the freaky things that he likes to do and what he's into. And it's really hard to extract yourself from what it is that R. Kelly's singing about and his personal life, because they're kind of one and the same. If you kind of think about it, R. Kelly is known. You think of R. Kelly songs, you think of Bump and Grind, you think of Ignition, you think of what was that other song he did, man? He did that one with Snoop Dogg. I don't remember the name of it, but he does those kinds of songs, and some of like he named the record Black Panties, so you kind of know what the dude's about. Like he's been consistent on every record as to what he's about and what he's into, and I think this is what makes it weird for R. Kelly. I think this is where I cannot separate the artistry from the artist.